I've seen several videos on YouTube on making your own mash tun, and and they usually do it out of a do I have it? It's a hose, garden or a sink hose, and they take the plastic out of the middle and whatnot. So my idea is, or my design is a little different. I'm going to do a false bottom, but the false bottom that I'm going to do, I'm going to use a pizza pan. And we're going to destroy this pizza pan. So anyway, I won't show you the normal steps of taking and making this. There's several YouTube videos that show you how to add, your spigot and the things to get that done. I'll come back and I'll show you that once it's put together. But essentially, it's real simple. You have one of these. This is already put together with the barb, and then you'll have this as a pipe in between. You'll have another barb on the back. You'll also have, you gotta have your spacers. There's the thing if you don't know. And then you'll need your O-rings. You're gonna need a couple of clamps, just basic clamps. You're gonna need, let's see here. You're gonna need a couple little pieces of tubing, which I have. Some high pressure tubing that's gonna go on the inside. I just got a foot. It's like $1. And then at Lowe's, you're going to have some tubing come off of your mash tun to go down into your hot liquor tank. And then on the inside, this tubing will go over to this barb. Now, I could have got a brass barb, but I was being cheap. I ended up probably replacing this. But essentially, the tubing will go over into this, or at least is this what I'm hoping. And then I will cut a hole in the pizza pan in the middle. Try to hold it up so you can see it. And then on the back side, I'll actually use the nut that came off of the cooler. So I'm going to use that. And then this actually screws into this. Well, yeah. So that'll kind of hold the pizza pan together. I may end up having to put some kind of washer. But that'll screw together and hold the pizza pan together. And then what I'm going to do is I bought some, I don't know if you can see it. That's just a little washer. You can almost see that it's goes through there, and that will be a spacer for this, because once this is screwed on tight, then this would end up, if I can show the table, would be flat, and so the pizza pan would sit flat on the bottom of the mash tun, which we don't want. So what I need to do is put this spacer here, and with a screw going through the pizza pan, and it will slightly lift this up, just enough so that your mash will go up through the tubing and out. Okay, so here's the tubing I was talking about that everybody's making their mash tun out of. And I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use the pizza pan, like I was talking about. So the first step, and you can't see it, but there's a little bitty, I marked it. That's my center hole. I'm going to cut that out. And what I'm going to use to cut it out with is I've got a nice little handy dandy hole saw. You're going to need something big because this barb's diameter is, you know, it's pretty big. So your standard drill bit is not going to cut it. So you're going to need something to be able to cut that hole out a little larger. I'm going to do that next. Okay, so you can see I've cut the hole out. And so the next step is going to be to cut the outside circumference of the pizza pan. So the inside diameter of the mash tun is 13 and 13/16. And but this pizza pan is 16 inches, so I need to cut it down. And I'll use a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade to cut the outside diameter. So since I had the center hole and I went ahead and cut it, which wouldn't have mattered anyway, my pizza pan is 16 inches. The inside diameter is 13/16. Okay, the difference between those two is 2 and 13/16 of an inch. So I'm going to take the half of that because I've got two sides. So I'm going to need to cut this thing circumference-wise 1 3/8 of an inch. So how I'll do that is I'll get out my measuring tape and I'll hook it to the side. I'm going to get my handy dandy marker, and I'm right at approximately, well, right at 1 3/8. I will mark, and I can move this around, and that'll give me the correct circumference. And let me go do that and cut it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I have the hole cut, I've got this cut on the outside diameter, and it's a really tight fit. If we look down at the bottom of the cooler, my barb is sticking out. So we'll put this we'll put this false bottom. This kind of can move around. What we'll have to do is, since this false bottom is not below the barb, I don't know if you can see that, most likely not. It's below the barb. The mash tun will actually sit on top of the barb. So what we're going to have to do is use our hose will connect to the barb. Our hose will connect to the barb. So we can rotate the hose kind of around a little bit. And on the outside of here, we're going to drill a hole. And then we'll bring the tubing up, and then it'll go right into this barb. It'll connect right into the barb. So it's going to go through there and then slightly around the mash tun a little bit and then connect to the barb. So I'll do that next. One thing that I discovered was I thought maybe the false bottom would sit underneath the outside spigot barb on the inside. So my spacers that I bought are not long enough now. And I still want to put spacers because when the grain settles and pushes down on the false bottom, I don't want it to bottom out on the bottom of the, it would bottom out on the bottom of the cooler.
So I'll have to go back and get some new spacers, and I'll just put a couple of them with the existing holes or drill some holes. And then I don't care if the sides push in because it won't really affect it. I will probably put, thinking about this, I probably will put a couple on the side where the barb comes in. So it's not putting any pressure on the barb. And then I'll put a couple here. And that's a false bottom. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'll show you what the false bottom looks like. So I got it done. If look down in there, it looks nice and neat. So give me a able to. It's like a flashlight. Show you. You can see it's nice and pretty well tight. The holes down there kind of gives me a little bit of buffer. I didn't realize that. And now I'm thinking I might even try it without even put the spacers in there. Because it's pretty tight. I can imagine even 25 pounds pushing down on there, plus the water. Probably still put a couple of spacers by the barb. See, it's pretty tight. Pull it out. And there is, sorry. And then you can see it connected to the barb there. So there's your false bottom. Let's see. Anyway, that's my idea for a false bottom. I think it worked out pretty well. Couple of things. Kind of with the jigsaw, I probably was a little off on my formula there, I believe, because it wasn't even close. And I don't have a bandsaw, so that would made it a lot easier. But I just used the jigsaw, and I got a table out there and a couple clamps, and you clamp it down, and you just got to keep whittling away at it until it's a nice tight fit. And next thing I'll do is I'll fill it up with water and make sure I don't have any leaks. If I got any leaks, I'll figure out why that is. Maybe I have to tighten the connections back. But that's my false bottom. The container cost me, I think it was $50 at Home Depot. And then all the parts for the spigot and hose, I believe, was around $35. And then I paid $9 for the pizza pan. So, it's close to $100. I think you can buy these for about $150. So I saved a little money, but anyway, it was an idea. And hopefully, if you see anything that I may need to change, just holler at me. Thanks.